It's all right. I just bumped into the microphone. I'm Eric, by the way.
Ivan.
Nice to meet you, Ivan.
The right pronouncing it's Ivan. But
What's that?
Ivan is the way it should be pronounced, but it's hard to pronounce it. So I guess it's because it's spelled Ivan.
Is it?
So they say Ivan, but it should be Ivan.
Ivan.
Yep.
I'll try to do Ivan. I'll see
fine.
I'll see if I can stick with that. So what's your last name?
Franco.
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 All right.
Yeah.
You got family in the area?
Yeah. My parents, both brothers, but my little brother just moved to Fargo, and he works up there.
Okay. Married, single?
Married. 3 kids.
How many?
3.
How old are your kids?
18, 13, and 7.
I have 3 kids as well.
Yeah.
I have a 20-year-old daughter. I have a 17-year-old daughter, and then I have a 16-year-old son.
Wow. Okay.
So, what are your kids into?
The oldest, soccer and cars.
Soccer and cars.
Yeah.
Is that what you're into too?
I am into that. Yeah.
Why? What? Tell me about soccer. What do you like about soccer?
Soccer is just something that I grew up with. That's the only sport that they kind of threw me into, kind of, you could say,
Yep.
friends and stuff. But there was the option of baseball, but I wasn't good at baseball, so I kept on.
Okay, so where did you grow up?
I was 8 years old when I grew up in Mexico.
Yep.
Well, you could say I didn't grow up over there because I grew up here, but I came to the United States when I was 8.
When you were 8.
And I turned 9, and then I've been here for quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since then.
Yeah.
Have you stayed in Pelican that whole time?
The whole time.
That whole time.
Yep.
So soccer and cars.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the cars. What do you do with? You run a body shop here in town?
Yeah, me and my brother own a body shop here in town, and it's been good. And I think, to be honest, I wasn't that good at school.
Right.
So
Right.
my only thing that I kind of kept in my head is like, what are you good at? You know, and I like cars and I like to work on them and I enjoy it. So that was kind of easy for me to just do that.
How long you been running the auto body
6
shop?
years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Did you take it over from somebody else? Or?
Yep. We were lucky enough that somebody had it already. And his name was Pete Hart. I guess a good guy, and he had a good reputation, and we took it over from him.
Do you have employees, or is it just you and your brother?
We have other employees. Yeah, we've been growing slowly, but it's been working out.
So I tried running a small business, and so like you said, you weren't good at school. I wasn't good at running a small business.
No?
I had a video production company. I wasn't as talented as this crew.
Yeah.
But so I used to be after college, I was a sports anchor. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if I seem more comfortable with this microphone in my face, it's because Friday night I would read the sports live.
Okay.
You know, the little red light would come on the big camera, and you just rolled with the punches. But so anyway, so I was in sports. I was a sports anchor, Rapid City, South Dakota, and then I moved back to Minnesota, and then I was up in Duluth, Minnesota, and we were gonna have our first kid, and so being a sports anchor, the analogy I use, it's a lot like baseball. Mm-hmm. There's single A, there's double A, there's triple A, and then there's the majors. And I don't know if I ever made it out of single A ball, but I didn't want to drag a family with me as I tried to pursue this dream. Mm-hmm. So when we found out we're having our first kid, I left TV and I became a financial advisor.
Okay.
And I was a financial advisor, stockbroker, whatever, for like almost a decade. But when I was working in TV, I shot and edited all my own video. When you're a sports guy or gal, right, they don't send you out with a photo person. You just grab the camera and you go.
Yeah.
So right around the time YouTube and Facebook started, businesses were looking for video production companies to produce videos, and so I started a side gig when I was working investments.
Okay.
And then I kind of had 2 businesses, and I had to choose, and I chose the video production. But I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't great at running the business part. I was good at doing the work, but so do you guys handle your books yourself? Do you hire that out?
No, that's where the smart guy comes in. My youngest brother, there's 3 of us. Danny Franco, he's the one that does our bookkeeping and all the accounting and
Yeah.
more of the headaches, you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part of at least that was in my experience, that was the hardest part about owning a business, right?
Yeah.
Like the work was enjoyable, all that stuff, it was just like so I tried, so I had to hire someone to help, and we would have Money Mondays. Mm-hmm. Right? She'd come in on Mondays and I wasn't allowed to think about anything else other than money on a Mondays, and then she would leave. So the other 6 days of the week I wouldn't ignore it, but I lost, I didn't focus on it so much. So soccer, is that like a family sport, or is it just something you gravitated towards?
It was just, you could say, like I said, it's really popular in Mexico. So then over there, it's just something that you just grow up doing at recess at school or after school. There was no phones,
Right.
So we had something. It was just some way of getting your energy out and just doing it. And then we came here, and here in Pelican, there was actually no soccer at school. There was no soccer pretty much. I don't even know if there was a soccer field back then.
Right. What year was this?
Oh man, I don't even remember the year. Exactly the year I don't remember, but I know that we played behind the trailer park. There's a church that it used to be a church, and now it's not anymore. But it was an open field, and that's where we played. And from there was a teacher, Miss Michelle, and she saw us a summer, and she's like, "Hey, you guys, what do you guys do?" We're like, "We just play soccer." And the good thing and the strange thing was that she didn't know nothing about soccer, but we didn't even know her.
Right.
She just came and she's like, "Let's start a team." So we started a team with her, and Mr. Brown had helped out, Mr. Brown, and we were kind of natural at it. That we just played it here in summer leagues, and we would always make it a state.
Yeah.
Almost every year, but then at state we would lose because we didn't have enough players. So we would grab, for example, I think that year or those years, the youngest players were like Miguel Diaz. They were probably 10 years old.
Yeah.
And we were playing a U16. So there was a mixture of 10s, 11s, 12s, maybe a few 13, 14s, and then 1 or 2 16s.
Yeah.
So we had to play at the U16.
Yep.
So around the area, the competition wasn't as good, you could say.
But they were all 16 years old.
But they were all 16.
Yeah.
But once we got to state, then there was a different level. We were competitive, but it wasn't physically, we weren't as big as those guys. I mean,
Right.
they were big guys, and she helped out a lot from there.
And what was her name again?
Michelle. And then Mr. Brown was part of it. That's why the soccer field down here is Brown Field.
Gotcha.
So after that, they just it was just summer. And then eventually it grew to where they had it at school. By the time they had it at school, they kind of merged in with Fergus, the school in Fergus, and then the players from here went over there and they played together. And that's the first time they had a soccer team in here.
How's the soccer team now?
It's good. There's different people doing it, but it's actually really good. Now there's a girls soccer team. Before it was just boys.
Yep.
So it's good. And now we have 3, you could say, 2 soccer fields, but sometimes the old football field becomes a soccer field as well.
For sure.
Yeah. And then they have an adult. Sorry, but they have an adult. No age. There's no age. Like a summer for Sundays, like a soccer league.
Soccer Sundays.
Soccer Sundays. So that's people from Fergus, DL, Fargo, Pelican. So there's no age. You could be 50, 60, or 10, 15 and play.
And I've heard, and correct me if and this is just what I've heard. So is there kind of a festive vibe to those days? Like, are people like almost tailgating in a way, or just kind of hanging out? I mean, there's soccer going on, but there's other community going on at the same time. Is that accurate?
That's what's good about this town. Like, for example, that just, people that like to play soccer, they play soccer, but at the same time, they take advantage because people like to go watch. It's like a family thing.
Yeah.
So it's, for example, I'm married, I have kids, I go play. I used to, not anymore because I'm
right.
And right. Bigger now.
Right.
And work, it just takes so much of my time.
Yeah.
With towing is 24/7. But for example, like, my brother, he still plays, and his wife will go watch him. His kids will watch him. I go watch them.
Sure.
Now my son is playing this year. And we go, and what they do is the community kind of saw the opportunity of, in case somebody needs help.
Yeah.
So, for example, if it's somebody in need in Mexico or somebody in need here or wherever, they'll sell food. And even for the church, for example, or whatever, they'll sell food, and people are there. They'll sell. All the profits go to that person that needs it or whatever. But it's just something nice and good for the community and for us to do.
Yeah.
So that's just like now on Sundays, if they don't have that soccer thing, like, I don't know, like you just feel like
it feels
like
weird.
Something's
missing. Yeah, for sure.
Even,
I don't. This is not comparable in any way, shape, or form. But football was my. I have two passions, I guess, outside of other stuff. But fishing and football. Mm-hmm. I grew up. I loved the Vikings. I loved football, and we used to have so this is kind of similar. So I would we didn't have like elementary football. Mm-hmm. It didn't start till you were in 7th grade. And so I would invite my buddies over to my house on Saturdays, and there'd only be like 6 of us, but we'd have the shoulder pads. They're all, junky shoulder pads, junky helmets, junky jerseys, whatever. And then we'd try to play in our backyard. And then once we got into 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, all that stuff, I was never the biggest, the fastest, or the strongest, right? Like I was athletically not super gifted, but I was able to. I coach now. I coach junior high.
Oh, okay, that's really nice.
I'm not trying to be. These are 7th and 8th graders. I'm gonna try to teach them how to do this. And I talk about flipping a switch.
Yeah.
Right. Like the person that you are in a cafe or on the sidewalk or in school, and the competitive person you need to be on the field, there's a switch, right?
Yeah.
And so what I'm getting at is I was never biggest, fastest, strongest, but I could flip the switch and kind of become this crazy whatever, for a small amount of time, and then I could turn it back off and be quasi normal. So
no, I know what you're saying, because me at soccer, I wasn't like really, really good at it.
Yeah.
I was just fast, before, not now, but
yeah.
But I used to be fast, and our players, the ones that we kind of started those teams back then, there was some of them that were really good, and some we were just having fun.
Right.
And one thing we had is we were just competitive, you just they just do it. And even though we used to play with like bigger kids, sometimes our coach would jump us to a bigger, like a U17 or whatever. There was times where we would be pushed like hard.
Yeah.
That you're like, hey, just keep on playing, and we did it. We were really good at it. And when I say I wasn't good at school, I don't mean like I was like really,
I get it.
But I don't know. Just coming from Mexico to here, it's a change. Schools over there, you have open rooms, so you talk louder.
Yeah.
Or
right.
I don't know, just different. And you come here and everything's enclosed. And I don't know. I was one of the kids that I learned more by doing stuff than by somebody telling me.
Sure.
And that's why probably I work on cars. I just, I don't know.
Tinker.
Yeah.
Tinker till you figure it out.
Yeah.
Did you know English when you came up,
No,
or did you learn here?
The funny thing is, my aunt used to work for, she worked in clothing in a store.
Yep.
And supposedly she knew English. Well, she didn't know English, but she knew a few words because of her boss. And when I was coming here, she told me, you know how to say I don't know English? And I'm like, how? And she's like, no speak Spanish. She told me no speak in Spanish. So I showed up to Pelican. Yeah. Then I went to the elementary, and I remember a teacher, the first thing I told him, I was like, I don't speak Spanish. They looked at me like, what? Yeah. So I called her. Once I had that opportunity, like, hey, you told me the wrong thing. You're telling me I don't speak Spanish. And it means I don't speak Spanish,
right, Right.
And that's what that's
no
one thing I know.
Español.
No Español. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That was something that I'm like, oh my gosh. The first day of school, and I'm telling them I don't speak Spanish.
Right. The opposite. When the opposite is what's and what
then
you're
from
really
there,
trying.
they got me. There was a teacher that, I don't mention his name, but he would always tell me, are you from out of town? Yeah, no, yeah, I'm from out of town.
Yeah, I am. And so
Yeah.
your kids, tell me again, how old are your kids?
18,
18?
my son, and then I have a daughter that she's 13, and then another younger one that she's 7.
And so I would imagine they're going to school here?
They all 3 went to school. My son now it's in college.
Yeah.
And my daughter, she's in the high school, and then Juliet, the smallest one, she's in elementary.
So
But-
has their public school experience been different than yours?
yeah.
Because you were one of the early, one of the first generations.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it's
there's
just-
a couple of generations that have come, but has their experience been different than yours?
Completely different.
How so?
For example, when I came to Pelican, I got held back 1 grade.
Yep.
And the reason I got held back 1 grade is because I was supposed to start in 4th grade, but there was no other Spanish-speaking students. And in 3rd grade, there was Leonardo Diaz, and Jesus. So then they're like, hey, just go there. And they actually put me in the same room as Leo, and that was how it started. And then I think Adon Avarca was in 5th grade, so I couldn't go up too
Right.
far, But there wasn't many, people that came from Mexico at that time. But it was good. The experience was good. But then throughout high school, once you kind of knew the language and you started going, it was still different because for some reason, we were kind of separated a little bit.
Yep.
And it wasn't because of teachers.
Yep.
It was just
Yep.
us.
Yep.
We felt more comfortable. So we had our little groups.
Yep.
Like all the Hispanics, all the...
Yep. Well,
back in the
every
day-
school has
Yeah.
cliques, right? Like
Kinda.
even in my
Yeah.
school, you had the jocks and the
And
whatever.
I had like really good friends, like throughout high school and elementary that I'm still good friends that are, not Mexican.
Yep.
But what I see on my kids, and not only my kids, but the generation, like for example, Franco, he's 3 years younger than me. For them, it started kind of being more mixed a little bit.
Yep.
Now Danny, there it was just normal. Now my son, same. Now my daughter, it's so much different that it's really nice looking at that. Like for example, her best friends, there's Somali, American, Mexican, and they're a group, and it's so much different. It's so like really nice to see.
Little progress, maybe.
Oh, a lot of progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other, like I mentioned, the other passion of mine is fishing. Do you take advantage of the lakes at all around here? Do you or
Before, when I was younger, yeah, but now I have work.
too busy?
Yeah,
Too busy.
towing is 24/7, so the towing business it's pretty much 2 businesses. The body shop 8 to 5, which were there earlier or later,
right.
And then towing is just you never know.
You're on call
Yeah.
all the time, every day. How many of you could hop in the truck and pull me out of the ditch if I called?
Well,
is it just you, or do you have others on staff?
No, there's others, but I mean, if you're in the ditch, maybe just you need 1 person, but
Yeah.
but only if it's an accident. Other than we take 2 trucks, or it depends on the situation. But we alternate. Me and my brother alternate now. So I'll
Sure.
take, for example, yesterday I was on call. Now he's on call,
Okay.
and now it'll be me tomorrow. But if he needs help, then I'm there.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
All hands on deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first 2 years in the business was hard. We didn't take a day off at all. Like no Saturdays, no Sundays. We were at the shop trying to build something.
Yep.
Because we were scared that what if something happens or we slow down or we didn't know. We didn't take no vacation or nothing. My wife went to Mexico twice, and my girls without me.
Right.
And then it got to the point where we had somebody that kind of talked to us and said, you know what, guys, you guys gotta slow down a little bit.
Sure.
And just look at your family and spend more time with them. Work, someone's gonna be there, and if something happens, it's gonna happen. So we did that. We now every year we saw that in December is the best time for us to take some time off.
Sure.
So in December, during Christmas and New Year, we try to go to Mexico and visit.
Sure.
We spend time with the family and visit family over there
Yep,
too.
yep.
Grandma, grandpa from both sides, aunts, uncles.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons. Like I said, I had a business, and so my one of my dreams when I was a kid was I want to have a fishing show.
Okay.
I don't know if they had fishing shows when you grew up in Mexico, but we had.
in Mexico there was no fishing shows.
Okay, well, so we had fishing shows, right? And so I grew up watching fishing shows, and that was like, I want to do that. I want to have my own fishing show. So 2016, I did. I had my own fishing TV show. Mm-hmm. But to your point, I worked 100 hours a week. No, I mean, I'm not kidding, right? Like I believe, right? Like you worked 100 hours a week, right? And my kids at the time were, I can't remember their ages, but I recognized that I was only going to get so many more summers with my kids.
That's what hit me.
Right?
Yep.
Like if my daughter was, let's say my oldest was 13, I was like, okay, Eric, you're going to get 5 more summers with that kid in the house. And so anyways, we did the TV show and it didn't suck. But I didn't have a big pile of money sitting next to me when I got done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we stayed afloat and whatever, but so then I got through the first season and I was like, I think I gotta do something. This was great. I checked the box. I lived the dream, right? But it's time to dream a different dream type of deal.
Yeah.
And so then I started looking for a job, and then I got my current job.
No, when you say about summers, that's what changed us on how we did stuff too. Because my wife said, hey, you only have 2 more summers with Ivan. He's gonna go to college, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that's nothing. 2 summers is nothing. Yeah. And it hit me hard once he left to college. It hit me hard.
Did it?
Oh yeah. Because every time I come back from towing, if it's at night, especially on a snow day, he's the only one that's still awake on his phone or computer doing something. Kids playing video games.
Yeah.
And I walk in and he's always, I'm like, hey, like, what are you doing? How was school? Whatever. Yep. And I remember the first week he went to college, that one day he left. I got a call and I came back to the house. It was like 10:30, 11 o'clock. My wife was already had the girls to sleep and she was sleeping. And I went to my son's room and I don't know. I thought he was still there. I opened the door and I'm like, and then it was empty. And I'm like, oh man. That's when it hit me. And then there was a few tears in my eyes. And then I kind of went to the room and everything. And I fell asleep. And then the next day, I'm like, yeah, I missed so much time that I could have spent with them that I didn't because of work.
Well, but you can't beat yourself up. You know what I mean? Like you got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Right? Like somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like there's the balance is the hard part.
The balance
is the hard part.
Me and Franco used to do everything. There was tire changes that people would call like, hey, I need a tire change, and it would be in Perham.
Yep.
And we're like, we'll do it.
Yep.
We were picking up everything. Like we would go so far that Underwood everywhere, and it got to the point like, hey, we should just. It's good that we're helping, but maybe we gotta shorten the area a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've been. I think we got guidance from other people where we used to work on other shops, and that's one thing we have is we are pretty friendly, you can say.
Sure.
Like all the jobs that I had in 2 other shops where I previously worked, we still have really good friendship with, for example, Buyers Towing, Mike and Justin.
Yep.
I work with them, and even though they do towing, they have a shop, we have towing, they still help us out quite a bit, or we help them too, if they need help. But
right.
Yeah, they're good people, and then also at Quality Toyota, me and my brother work there, and we still talk to Mike, the manager over there, or all the employees there, and we just have good connections. They kind of gave us, they do this, do that, or help us out along the way. There's another shop here locally that Franco worked at, Auto Connection, with Al, and even though we both have a shop, we still, if I need paint, we go get it from there. If he needs paint, he comes and gets it from us.
Right.
If he needs something, we'll help him. It's just, there's no, having that is so much nicer and better. And it helps us and it helps him, and it's good.
Collaboration above competition, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you recognize the need to help each other out and get her done.
And I think it's because small towns. Everybody knows. Well, I didn't know you, but
right. We do now. Yeah, we're changing that.
I
right
think
now.
they knew you, just from videos on Facebook. But, I like the small town feeling. I've been to California, visit family. I mean, every time we go to Mexico in December, we drive. We don't. Well, we used to fly. Now we drive.
Right.
I mean, we go through so many towns and places, but I don't know. There's nothing like here. It feels good. Like right now, my wife and kids are at home, but even if they weren't, if it was just a work day, I'll close the door. But I don't know if I locked it, but I don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Because it's a small town. You know the neighbors know you, and that's a good feeling to be here.
Does it feel like home now?
Oh, it's felt like home, like almost right away.
Yeah?
The only bad thing is winter.
Yeah. A little different than Mexico. The winters in Pelican Rapids.
I told my parents, I'm like, when I turn 18, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I haven't left.
You haven't left?
No.
How long ago did you turn 18?
Oh, a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. No, it's good. I don't think I don't see myself moving. You know, we've thought about it before we had the business, but no, we tried. We didn't try moving, but we went and checked out other where family lives.
Yep.
But yeah, no, there's nothing. Even when we go to Mexico, it's sad because one of my aunts actually told me we were 2 weeks in and we were gonna come back and it slipped. I said, yeah, we're gonna go back home. And she looked at me and she's like, you know, you're saying you're going back home, but this is your home. And I'm like, I know, I'm sorry, but it doesn't feel like it's, you know, it feels good, but I don't know, I said it.
So you were in Mexico and you said we're going back home.
Yeah.
And you meant Pelican when you said that.
Yeah, I meant that.
And that felt weird in that
yeah, because
moment.
My aunt pointed it out to me and she's like, hey, you know, you just said you're going back home. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. But when I go to Mexico, I feel a joy. I feel really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's safe where we go. Everything's good. But yeah, I don't know. After a while, I do miss Pelican.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I know a little bit about Pelican, but I obviously don't live here. Mm-hmm. So the community itself, as you've mentioned, there's different groups, there's different nationalities, there's different whatever. So you've got a Somalia community. Mm-hmm. You've got a Latino.
Laos, Vietnamese. We have all kinds of.
Do you?
Oh,
rattle them off.
I mean, right now, on the top of my head, I couldn't name them all, but I think at the high school, they've actually had a number of how many nationalities just in this small town, and it's quite a bit. I mean, just Somali, Bosnian, Laos, Vietnamese, Chinese, Mexican, Guatemala, Salvador, Honduras. Let's see. There's so many. I mean,
and it works.
It works.
It works.
Yeah, it works.
I mean, and I don't want you to speculate, but like, how do you think it works, or why does it work? Why does it work here?
I couldn't explain it why or how, but it works. Like a lot of people I know before when I was in high school, I used to go with Mrs. Brown to like Detroit Lakes, other schools, and talk about different nationalities. Yep. And I was surprised on how in other schools they were just like, what? Yeah, all these other nationalities, because we went in a group. It was me and other people from Bosnia, Somalia, and other, you know, nationalities, and we would talk to them, and there was students and teachers that would go to that. Yep. And they would ask us questions. Yep. And I was surprised on how like they had no clue, and they're like, Pelican, white Pelican. I'm like, and I know, I mean, it's because of the turkey plant. Yep. You know, JNO, and I wish we had something else here too, because it would make the town grow a little bigger. Like for example, Purim. Sure. I mean, Purim.
The industry is more diverse, so you get other opportunities. Yeah.
And that's why some of the families sadly are moving from Pelican to Purim, because there's just more options to work.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And but you can tell most of them, some of them come back, right? Or some of them will just come back and visit, but they come back.
But it's not that far. No. Like if you could live in Pelican and work in Purim. I mean, that's a half an hour commute. Which
there's a lot of people that do that.
Yeah.
They live here and they drive, but it gets to a point where in winter it gets dangerous.
Yeah. 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 But that's good for your business.
Yeah.
So you said you don't like winter, but so
I do like winter. It's just that things I like to do. Right. It's hard to do in winter.
Have you ever been ice fishing?
I've been, but I don't know.
Well, so there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. Okay. So if you ever want to go, like again, and I'm not you don't have to. But if you're in the winter and you're like, hey, I'm bored, right? Because I can't play soccer or I can't whatever it is that you like to do. Let me know. What I would say is, and I don't want to sound like a dad, but I have a lot of quirky sayings like I tell my kids. And so with ice fishing, what I tell my kids all the time is the best way to stay warm is to not get cold. And what I mean by that is, especially if you have kids out there, they're making snow angels and they're playing, doing it. I'm like, dude, you're going to get wet. Okay. Yeah. Your clothes are going to get wet and then you're going to get cold. So anyways, I'm just saying that there's a comfortable way to do it and an uncomfortable way to do it. And it doesn't mean you have to have a big, huge, fancy fish house. It just means there's some, like this winter I built some false flooring, right? So I took some plywood and I stripped some 2x4s and then I put some insulation on there so we could put the false flooring on, have a portable fish house, right?
Okay.
So you put the false floor down and so your feet are off of the ice and there's a little bit of insulation between you and the ice. And because the first thing to get cold is, I don't care what kind of boots you got, your toes, if you stand on the ice.
No, I know. It gets cold right away because we've been out there on the snowstorms pulling cars out. But your hands and your feet. But
hands and your feet.
I'll keep that in mind because there's other people that have invited me to try to do stuff. And I know when I say I don't like winter, I do like winter. It's just that it's just, there's like in summer you can do grilling and so much other things. But in winter, a snowmobile, ice fishing, there's so much stuff. But I don't know. It feels like I'm trapped sometimes inside the house or at work, and I get out and
it's dark.
Just going out there and turning the car on.
When you show up, it's dark, and when you leave, it's dark. Yeah. There's less sunlight, all that stuff.
But no, it's good.
Okay.
Business is good in winter, so I can't complain that much too.
Right.
But deer are the good ones.
Deer? Yeah. A lot of deer around here. Deer. Yeah, a few turkeys too. I bet you deal with some otters.
Last year, on 34, there was an otter.
An otter accident.
An otter,
that's kind of sad.
It's different. It's sad. It was sad. Yeah. It was big.
They're big.
I mean, that one was big,
A big otter.
Yeah.
Well, we're in Otter Tail County. I mean, that's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Cows.
Oh,
It's been a few cows.
They don't give so much.
No, actually, one of them, the truck hit it. The cow didn't die. Just got up and walked away. The cow was good, but the truck wasn't.
Not so good. Not so good.
No. Yeah. We see all kinds of stuff.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to know about me? I mean, I feel like I've berated you with questions. Is there anything you want to know about me?
Yeah. Well, no, because I don't know if. I mean, but.
No, that's right. That's all right.
I mean, there's something that you do at work that you're not supposed to. We're not supposed to say.
What's that? Oh.
Yeah.
well, does it have to do with the puppet?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We can talk about that.
I don't know.
So I
recognize your voice right away too.
Exactly. I work for Otter Tail County. I'm a government employee. And I started in 2017 after I had my own business, right? So I started calling smart people, and I got my current boss was one of the guys I called. And so in 2017, I'll explain that story real quick. So my job is to recruit residents to the area, right? For workforce, right? Like whether it's Jenny O or a bank or a hospital, like they need workforce, right? Yeah. And so we use tourism as a first date, right? Like nobody's gonna, well, not nobody, but you don't walk up to people and just ask them to get married. You say you want to go on a date, right? And we apply the same philosophy with recruiting people. You don't say you want to move up here. You got to go on a few dates first. So we use tourism. And so we had this, the good news is we had a brand, we had this thing, and then we had these puppets, the advertising agency. And so I had made these puppets, and I asked my boss, I'm like, how many of those puppets are there? He's like, I don't know, 3 or 4. He's like, why? I'm like, can we get one? Oh. He's like, well, what would we do with it? I said, we'll make our own videos. He's like, well, who's going to do the voice? I said, well, I'll try. And if I suck at it, I'll stop. Right? Like, well, it's not, I'll use my cell phone, so it won't cost us anything. and it kind of turned into a bit. And it's been like just before I was here, I didn't do any videos, but I took the puppet and we went to the Pelican Showcase and yeah. So it's been a way for us to create content, tell our story without me being the face of the franchise. You know what I mean? Because
that's why I don't know if you wanted to mention it or not, because now they'll know it's you.
Exactly. No, it's okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
Wait, here's a funny story. So we had an event called OTC on Ice. We tried to throw a party on a frozen lake, and while we were this was years ago, 2019, and while we were doing that, I got to know a lot of the first responders from the Otter Tail Fire Department. And I had the puppet and we were doing videos and taking selfies and stuff. Well, then there was a fire one night and I was in the area. So I didn't want to, I mean, it was bad news, but I wanted to die. And we knew that where the fire was. And so I showed up and I was taking pictures and the fire department guys were like, are we going to do a puppet video? I'm like, no, we're not doing a puppet video about the fire. So it's been a fun journey and a fun way to, again, tell our stories of this unique place on earth. So, but yeah, I've enjoyed our converation. I feel like I know you.
We haven't even drank our coffee.
Exactly. I got half a cup here. What is the name of your auto body shop?
Pelican Pete Body Shop and Towing. It's kind of long, but Pelican Pete Body Shop and Towing, and we kept the Pete because before it used to be Pete's Body Shop. Yeah. And because of the name of Pete Hart, but when we took over, we said, okay, how can we do this easy, you know? And everybody knows the number, 7383, because it's spelled out Pete. Yeah. And me and Franco came up with the idea of the statue's name's Pete. Why don't we just go Pelican Pete and then we can keep the number? Yeah. So we asked the city and they're like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. And it was good. Cool. And I mean, the design, the logo, somebody actually helped us out here in town too. Yep. Marco helped us out and everything kind of came through really good. Yeah, it came together. It came together. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Cool. Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. Ivan? Ivan, did I get it right? You got it right. All right. Yeah. Well, if I'm ever in a pickle or in a ditch or I hit a deer, now I know who to call. Yeah, for unlocks, everything. We do a lot of stuff. Even sometimes we do stuff that we just help out. Mainly that's what we try to do, just help out. Help each other out. Yeah. Help your neighbor out. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah.